Good evening. Earlier this week, I said I had a very special review for, a very new up and coming product that's been quite hyped recently. And so, as promised, the review is ready to go. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. What we're reviewing today is the Arka Tempest V1 bowls. Now, these have been, they've been rumored, they've been hyped about for a very long time now. Pretty much as long as I've been around in this community, I've heard about Arka Bowls, and we finally got them now in the market. These are created by Sarkis of Hookah Unlimited, so you know, great packaging. I think a lot of companies could really learn something in terms of packaging, right? When we buy a bowl, we don't just want a piece of clay with some newspaper and some foam pieces wrapped up and thrown into a box. I think the packaging and everything looks great here. I personally do like it very much. Bowl comes inside with a little foam cover. You know, simple, just good packaging. Nothing much more to it. But outside of that, let's get into the main thing, which is the bowl. So right now, what we have is the Anubian Black, which I believe is based off of Anubis, Greek mythology. It's a very good looking bowl in my opinion. I do like this kind of woodsy finish here. It does feel really nice in your hand. Good looking bowl overall. But yeah, first thing I would say as a con is it's a very light bowl. It doesn't have much weight to it, and if I'm being completely honest, it when you feel it, you wouldn't really think that this is a bowl that would perform too well, right? It weighs almost similar to an Oblaco. Um, Even the material wise, it doesn't feel like anything truly exquisite in your hand. I'm not a big person on pottery, but as far as I believe, I think these are cast made bowls. The glazes do look really nice, and the overall feel in your hand is not too bad. It just feels a little cheap in my opinion, considering $40 was paid for it. Buy an alpaca around a similar price, it feels a little different in your hand, but $40 feels a little light. I like my bowls more on the heavier side, but it's not too bad. Looks good on a hookah, and yeah, that's pretty much how I like the looks. As you can see, the spire is very well made. It's not a straight flat spire. It's more of like a cyclone spire, I would say. It's a very not too deep, not too shallow of a bowl. Holds, I would say, a medium capacity of tobacco. And I wouldn't say it's something like a stinger or a mini rook of any sorts. It holds a decent amount of tobacco in this bowl. As you can see, the bowl is pretty wide in diameter, so it can be smoked with both HMDs and Provost. I believe also foil and coal if you're into that. So far, I've tried these with Provost and foil, Lotus, Onmo, and Mosaic with foil as well. So, let's get into the overall smoking aspect of it. What did I find the best? Where do I think the bowl lacks? Where can I think they improve? And just the overall review on it. We're gonna get the setup on a hookah as well, and we'll be smoking it. So stay tuned. So let's get into what my overall experiences have been with this bowl. I would say since I've gotten the bowl, I've smoked it over 10 to 15 times. Some packed by me, some packed by some of my friends, but majority that was packed by me. And I would say tried it in all kinds of methods, Lotus, Onmos, whatever the case may be. Every HMD that's prominent in the market, I've tried it with. So, I would say so far, in my opinion, the best way I've smoked this so far is with a Mosaic Halo 326s foil. Similarly, as you would use a Provost, but I use a Mosaic on this bowl specifically. And I don't use the Mosaic on any other bowls. I only use it on this bowl specifically because, in my opinion, the Arca is not able to tolerate too much heat. When you smoke it, the bottom part of the bowl is always cool to touch. 1 hour in, 2 hours in, doesn't matter. The bottom part will not get hot. But the top part of the bowl is incredibly hot, almost scorching. When I smoke it with a Provost or a Lotus, my sessions start getting harsh very quickly. It starts burning very hot. But when I use the Mosaic, it's a more slow, gradual heat rise. And so I prefer that method personally for myself. In terms of results, I would say I've had mixed results on this. I wouldn't say all of my bowls have burned or none of my bowls have not burned. I would say it's been a 50-50. I've tried different pack methods, different size coals, different ways of, how long I'm letting it heat up versus not. And I would say, it's been a 50-50. I've had good sessions with Provost. I've had good sessions with Lotuses. But I would say that this is a bowl that's very unforgiving, meaning if your pack is not right, if you're not really managing your heat properly, and if you're using, tobacco brands that are very heat sensitive, let's say, there is a chance that your session will be completely ruined because the bowl will simply get too hot, and by the time you cool it down, your coals are going to be too small, and it's just not going to be a good time. So I've had mixed results in terms of how I've enjoyed this bowl, but I've had sessions that are good and have had sessions that are really bad where I've had to repack in 15 minutes because my tobacco is just completely scorched. But as I said, Mosaic, 3 Arca Colts, 26s. You let it heat up for about 10-ish minutes or so, and you're gonna have a very smooth session. At least that's my opinion so far, in terms of how I've enjoyed it best. So, you know, enough talking. Let's get it set up and let's just show you, what clouds on this thing can look like if you do pack it well and heat manage it well. Packed, same Arca Bowl, Mosaic Halo, 3 coals, 3 Arca 26 cold, smoking out of the Stimulation Prime Pro X1. So yeah, as I said, let it heat for about 10 minutes or so, and yeah, this is what the clouds look like. No flavor burn, consistent flavor. I have in the bowl a hazel chata, trifecta cookie dough, and must have paradise together. 3 of my favorite dessert flavors. So yeah, this is my favorite way to smoke the bowl. Nothing else around it. Simple. Overall, I'd say the bowl is a 7.5 out of 10 for me, just due to ease of usage. If it was a little easier, a little heavier, it could easily be a 9 or a 10. But in my personal opinion, the bowl is good for the first model, but it can definitely use some work going forward. Thicker balls, a more nice, expensive feeling depot, I would say, and yeah, it would be great. But again, thanks for watching the review, and here's some more clouds to end it.